Yesterday I wore the dress and I don't like it. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa and I am here today to present you with a challenge. In a recent trip to the op shop, I came across a bunch of dressmaking patterns and found a few that I like. So I've got one here which is of a bunch of dresses. Admittedly, they do have shoulder pads in them, but if I were to make this dress, I'd probably take the shoulder pads out. Anyway, the point is that I found a bunch of patterns that I thought would make pretty good dresses, even though they are a bit maybe vintage, a bit outdated, but it gave me an idea. Could I make a dress for a mere $5? You could probably buy a coffee for $5, maybe, depending where you go. And so I thought, for the price of a coffee, could I make a new dress? Brand new in the sense of never been worn before, not a second-hand dress. But having said that, in order to make it for $5, I'm obviously going to have to buy some recycled fabric. That is where I'm headed today, which is why I'm outside. I'm just about to get in the car and head off to an op shop. So hopefully I'll find what I need and we can get sewing. Okay, so I've just arrived at the op shops. I've got a row of them here in front of me, and so I'm just going to pop out, start at one end and work my way through. What I am aiming to find is probably a maybe a tablecloth or a set of curtains or anything along those lines that will be cheap fabric that I can turn into a dress. So let's go. So nothing in the first one, and one of the op shops was also closed, so now we're on to the third one. Let's see if there's anything to be found here. Okay, so I'm back in the car again. That was unsuccessful. I did find 2 sheets that potentially would have had enough fabric to make a nice dress that were a cotton, something that I would wear, but I didn't like the color, so I wouldn't wear them. For me, this challenge is not just about making a dress for $5, but making a dress that I like, that I will continually wear. And so my next idea is to drive to a different set of op shops and give it another go. So let's hit the road again. The lady in the shop, just after I turned off the camera, a lady approached me and I sort of just quickly put my phone away. But she was so helpful and asked me if there was anything I needed, what I was looking for. And so I told her about my project of making a dress from recycled fabrics. I didn't tell her that it was a $5 challenge, because, you know, I don't want to put any pressure on her to give me a certain price, but she went out the back and found me this. So this is definitely a color that I would wear, and it seems to be cotton. It definitely feels like cotton. And what's more, it's got a bunch of buttons on it. So if I need any, they say Republic Home or Home Republic. So not sure I'll be using these buttons exactly, but if I need some, maybe I could cover them. But anyways, I've got buttons, so that's great. And it also has 2 different patterns, one on each side. So we've got like a kind of spot-ish kind of thing, chips of something, and then on the other side it's this kind of small stripe. So I'm very happy about that, and I'm now going to head home and give it a good wash and iron it out I can get sewing.
Hey, well, good morning everybody. It is now the next day and I am ready to do some sewing. I'm just about to start ironing the fabric, but before I do, I think it makes more sense to separate the top and the bottom layers, which have different prints. Well, I've decided to go with this pattern for the dress. Thankfully, because it's such a big doona cover, it will not be a doona cover for long. There's plenty of fabric, so I'm really hoping I can make the whole thing out of this fabric, and then I will have a whole lot of fabric left for another day, which I'll probably make into a different dress. According to this pattern, I am a size 14, and I was going to be doing the figure D, but what I didn't realise was that there were buttons at the back, and so I'm not really fond of buttons at the back. I think they're a bit awkward and they get in the way of when you're sitting in chairs and stuff, so I don't find them very comfortable. So because of that, I have switched to view B, which has the buttons at the front, and I'm just hoping to round off the corners of this collar just to make it a little bit more what I like. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the paper, so better get started on that now.
It has been an awfully long time since I have used a pattern. I often make my own patterns if I sew, and I don't actually sew that often anymore these days. So I was using the centimeters, and I am somewhere between the 12 and the 14, but I'm actually going to have to cut the 12 because this pattern only does 8, 10 and 12 after all. So let's hope it fits.
Now 9:30 in the evening, and I have cut out all the pieces that I need from the main fabric. I still need to cut out 3 pieces in iron-on facing, and I need to cut this collar in a contrasting fabric. I have my thoughts on an old bed sheet which has worn out in the center, but I think some edge pieces could still be salvaged. But I am definitely feeling tired and ready for a sleep, so I am going to hopefully pick this up in the morning and actually finish cutting out and actually get sewing, so where the fun bit begins. I'm not really sure where to start with this, but yesterday I wore the dress and I don't like it. So my goal was to be making a dress that I would wear and continuously wear for $5. But I don't like this dress, so I will not be wearing it continuously the way it is. So I've got an idea how I might be able to modify it. to make it a bit more my style. Something, I guess the main problem with it is that it really looks dated, very dated. I'll just bring it back so I can talk to you about it. Okay, so I wore this yesterday morning, and yeah, I was not comfortable in it. I felt really, really dated and a bit out of place. So what I typically like is I like things to be more like classic and elegant. I don't like things to be dated, and so I guess when I try and do something classic or maybe vintage inspired, it has to be like, it can't be truly vintage. It has to be sort of vintage inspired, but still keeping current in some way, which this does not do. I also think that the buttons have a big part in it. As soon as I put the buttons on, I didn't like it. So I think the buttons are too big. So I think what I need to do is I need to shrink the collar a little bit. It's too big. And also these buttons, I'm going to narrow this little crossover section and put more buttons in that are smaller. And I'm thinking maybe sort of pearl button style might make it look a bit more elegant as opposed to, you know, everyday. I'm happy with the skirt. The skirt sits nicely. There's nothing wrong with the skirt. It's very simple. But yeah, I think all my issue is with the top part, because I had it on and I just kept looking to the side of me and seeing this collar out the corner of my eye, the collar coming right out to the edge of my shoulder, and I don't know, it just reminded me of a dress that I'd had when I was, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something, and it had one of those huge big bib collars, and it was really giving me those kind of vibes. I think it's just the collar and buttons just being oversized. I think that's what it is. I'm not going to film it. I'm just going to crack on because I'm running out of time. But I will reattach once I have redone the top part. Thankfully, I've got enough fabric left. I might have to buy some buttons. I don't think I've got any buttons that will do the trick, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to get the buttons from, but we'll see. At this point, I don't want to have wasted my effort with something that I won't wear. So if I go over budget, I think that's better than having made something in budget that I wouldn't wear. So we'll see. Anyways, that's the update, and I will catch you in a bit once I've done that. So this is what the original pattern looks like with the collar and the buttons. And hopefully we will be transforming it to, well, I'm not sure I would call it fabulous, but it is definitely an improvement. I found this belt just this morning in an op shop for $3, which is genuine leather, so that's a win, which I thought went well with the dress. And as you can see, the collar is a lot thinner and slimmer, and I've gone for some very small pearl buttons at the front. So they are, you know, trendy enough. You could find them on a dress from review, for example, but I definitely think that they tend to go with more tailored looks, whereas this is quite loose fitting, and so definitely loose fitting is a thing, but not paired with the collar and the buttons. So that's why I think maybe it's a little bit more it's a little bit out there, because it's, yeah, a different pairing of elements that you would find. You know, each different element, I suppose, is not so out there. It's just the combination. I'm not 100% sure that I would be wearing it out and about. I probably wouldn't feel super confident, but it's very comfortable to wear. It's a very lightweight, breathable, easy to move around. So looking after children, doing housework, it's probably going to be really comfortable. Yeah, so that is my overall thoughts of the dress. So now to answer the question, did I or did I not manage to meet the challenge and make my own dress for $5. I think you're probably not going to be surprised, but I'm going to have to say no, because this dress cost, well, let's tally it up actually. So $1 for the pattern, $5 for the doona cover, and then I had this sheet, which I'm going to say was $0 because I had it in the house anyway. And then these buttons at the front, they cost, I used 7 and they were 30 cents each, so that makes $2.10. So that comes to a grand total of $8.10. So I didn't quite make the challenge, but if you like, you can take on this challenge yourself. If you're not 100% sure what the equivalent would be for you, just go with the price of a cup of coffee. That should work out roughly the same. And so, yeah, you can let me know down in the comment section below how you get on, or better yet, if you could take a picture and upload it to Instagram, then you can always tag me and I will be able to have a look at your creations. So I will just leave my Instagram down on the bottom of the screen, and that would be absolutely amazing. Then I could see what you've come up with, and yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Let the sewing begin. And so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, especially making it to the end of the video. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like, as it really helps grow my channel. And if you want to see more videos like this with DIY projects, sewing, cooking, house making, homemaking, that kind of thing, please do click the subscribe button, and I will hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye!